It was just another ordinary Friday night for Kevin and Elizabeth, a young couple from a quiet suburban town. They were heading out for a much-needed date night, leaving their 2 young children, 5-year-old Lily and 2-year-old Jack, in the care of a new babysitter. They had found her through a reputable local agency, a bright-eyed college student named Sarah. She had stellar references and a warm, friendly demeanor that immediately put them at ease. As they left, Elizabeth reminded Sarah about Jack's bedtime routine and Lily's favorite storybook. Sarah just smiled reassuringly, promising to take great care of them. An hour into their dinner, Elizabeth's phone buzzed. It was a picture message from Sarah. The photo showed Lily and Jack, fast asleep in their beds, looking peaceful and content. A simple caption read, "All tucked in and sound asleep. Hope you're having a great time." Elizabeth smiled, showing the photo to Kevin. "See, they're angels." "She's great," she said, feeling a wave of relief. They enjoyed the rest of their meal, talking and laughing, completely unaware that this simple, reassuring photo would be the last communication they would ever receive from Sarah. When they returned home around midnight, they were greeted by an eerie silence. The house was dark, except for a dim light in the hallway. "Sarah," Kevin called out, but there was no reply. They rushed upstairs to the kids' rooms. Just like in the photo, Lily and Jack were sleeping soundly in their beds, completely undisturbed, but Sarah was nowhere to be found. Her jacket was still hanging on the coat rack, her purse was on the kitchen counter, and her car was still parked in their driveway. But Sarah herself had vanished. A chilling sense of dread began to creep in. They called her name again, their voices filled with growing panic. They searched every room, the basement, the backyard, nothing. It was as if she had simply evaporated into thin air. They immediately called the police. When the officers arrived, they were initially skeptical. Maybe she just got a ride from a friend, one of them suggested. But as Kevin and Elizabeth explained the situation, the car, the purse, the complete lack of any message, the officers' expressions grew more serious. The house was declared a potential crime scene. The first thing investigators examined was Sarah's phone, which they found sitting on the kitchen counter next to her purse. They hoped it would contain a clue, a text message, anything that could explain her sudden disappearance. They opened her messages, and there it was, the photo she had sent to Elizabeth just a few hours earlier. But as the digital forensics team analyzed the image, they discovered something deeply disturbing. The photo wasn't just a simple snapshot. Embedded within the image's metadata was a timestamp. The time the photo was taken was 9:45 p.m. However, the message was sent to Elizabeth at 8:30 p.m. This meant Sarah had sent the photo an hour and 15 minutes before the children were actually asleep. Why would she do that? It was a small detail, but a deeply unsettling one. It suggested a level of premeditation, a deliberate act of deception. The reassuring picture was a lie. The investigation intensified. Police canvassed the neighborhood, knocking on every door, asking if anyone had seen or heard anything unusual. Most neighbors reported a quiet night, but one elderly woman who lived across the street mentioned something odd. She said that around 9:30 p.m., she saw a dark, unmarked van parked a few houses down from Kevin and Elizabeth's home. She hadn't thought much of it at the time, but in light of the news about the missing babysitter, it now seemed significant. The police tracked down security footage from a nearby convenience store. The camera's angle just barely caught the street where the van was parked, and there it was. At approximately 9:50 p.m., just 5 minutes after the photo's timestamp, the van's doors opened. The footage was grainy and distant, but 2 figures could be seen exiting the van and walking purposefully toward the house. A few minutes later, they returned to the van, this time with a third person between them who appeared to be struggling. Then, the van sped away into the night. The pieces of the puzzle were starting to come together, forming a terrifying picture. The police theory was now clear. Sarah hadn't run away. She had been taken. But why? Was it a random act of violence, or was Sarah specifically targeted? The babysitting agency that had recommended Sarah was thoroughly investigated. They were a legitimate business with a clean record. Sarah's background check was spotless. She was a model student, a beloved daughter, with no known enemies or shady connections. The motive remained a complete mystery. Then, a new lead emerged from Sarah's digital life. Detectives digging into her social media accounts found a series of private messages exchanged with an unknown profile. The conversations were cryptic, but they hinted at a secret she was keeping. Sarah mentioned being scared, feeling like she was being watched. In one of her last messages, sent just 2 days before she disappeared, she wrote, "He found me. I don't know what to do. Who was he? The profile she was messaging was anonymous, and tracing it proved to be a dead end. This new information shifted the focus of the investigation. It seemed Sarah had a past she had kept hidden, a past that had finally caught up with her. The police delved into her life before college, before she moved to this quiet town. They discovered that years ago, Sarah had been the key witness in a major criminal trial back in her hometown. She had testified against a powerful and dangerous figure, a man who was part of an organized crime syndicate. Her testimony had put him behind bars for a very long time. At the time, she had been placed in witness protection, given a new identity, and relocated for her own safety. Over the years, she had slowly let her guard down, believing she was finally free. She started college, made new friends, and tried to build a normal life. But somehow, they had found her. The anonymous profile, the feeling of being watched, the unmarked van, it all pointed to a calculated act of revenge. The babysitting job was just a coincidence of time and place. Sarah was in the wrong place at the wrong time, but for a reason that had nothing to do with Kevin and Elizabeth's family. The photo she sent took on a new, heartbreaking meaning. Knowing she was in imminent danger, Sarah's first thought was to protect the children. She couldn't call the police or the parents without alerting her attackers. So she did the only thing she could think of. She took a photo of the sleeping children and sent it with a misleading caption. It was a message designed to keep the parents away, to buy time, to ensure that whatever was about to happen to her, the children would remain safe and sound, asleep in their beds. It was a final, selfless act of a brave young woman facing an unimaginable horror. Despite a nationwide manhunt and the case being featured on several major news outlets, Sarah was never found. The dark van and the figures seen in the grainy footage were never identified. The crime syndicate her testimony had helped dismantle was notorious for making witnesses disappear without a trace. For Kevin and Elizabeth, the night that began with a simple date ended in a lifelong nightmare. They were haunted by the photo on their phone, a picture of peaceful innocence that masked a terrifying secret. They looked at their children, forever grateful for the babysitter who, in her final moments, thought only of their safety. The story of Sarah, the babysitter who sent one photo and then disappeared, became a chilling local legend, a reminder of the hidden dangers that can lurk just beneath the surface of a quiet, ordinary life. And for everyone who heard it, it was a testament to the incredible courage of a young woman who used her last moments to protect the innocent. Her case remains open to this day, a haunting mystery of a hero who vanished into the night. Thank you for watching. If you found this story compelling, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more true stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Stay safe out there.